Привет всем, с вами я, Janey, и это How Janey Learned Russian. So we are almost to the end of our accusative case chapter. And in this chapter, we have learned about how we need accusative case for when something is the direct object, or when we're going somewhere, for things like to be similar to, etc. So now I just wanted to kind of take a moment and review everything we've talked about so far, just so to keep it fresh in our minds, because we did have that long break. So today we are going to be doing that recap, and then we're also going to be looking at our songs at the end of the textbook to see if we can find any accusative case in our songs. So let's go ahead and get started. We're just going to be doing a quick review today to just keep everything fresh in our heads. I always like to loop around. In today's world, we need help staying focused, right? So speaking of looping around, let's review what we talked about yesterday. So how would we say the following things? So pay attention to whether it's liking or loving. Okay, because remember, liking, we don't need any accusative case. Вот. So, как сказать по-русски? I love the Russian language. So does Russian language even change? No, because it's not a feminine singular. So we just say я люблю русский язык. Все. Next one. I'm going to the library. Does library change? Библиотека. It's a feminine singular, and you're going to it. So, yes, it does. Я иду в библиотеку. Вот так. I like Russian music. Does Russian music change? No, because it's pleasing you. It is doing the pleasing. Мне нравится русская музыка. Все, вот так. I have a big family. Are you doing something to the big family? When we look at this in English, we think, well, I'm having it. But in Russian, we know that when you have something, it is near you. It's in your vicinity. So we don't get any accusative case here. У меня большая семья. Okay, now look at this next sentence. I love my big family. Oh, now you're doing something to it. And it's a feminine singular, большая семья. So let's get ready for some accusative case. Я люблю мою большую семью. Вот так. Next one is we want to go to a new country. We want to go to a new country. Okay, so let's look at new country. Новая страна. That's feminine singular. And we have a going to there, so that's going to get accusative case. So we would say something like мы хотим поехать в новую страну. Вот так, вот так. All right, so just a quick reminder, all of this that you are seeing in this video is following along with my textbook that I wrote called Russian Cases Made Slightly Less Scary, available for purchase over on Patreon. The link is in the description. Please buy it on the website. Save yourself like 20 bucks instead of the app. It's because iOS and Android charge a bunch of extra money. Also, you can join in on some weekly, sometimes bi-weekly classes, and you can join the intermediate class, which studies Russian movies. And it's just a great way to keep all of these things you're learning in these videos and this textbook, keep it relevant in your mind, because otherwise it's going to go in one ear and out the other, isn't it? Okay, so today we're going to review everything we've learned so far, plus we'll look at our songs, as I already mentioned. Интересный кусочек информации дня. Куда надо пойти в Москве? Обязательно надо пойти в главное здание МГУ. So МГУ stands for Московский государственный университет. So it's just like, it's very Soviet, well, right? Like, this is very Soviet architecture. I don't know, when I was a student there, I had a студенческий пропуск, so I had like a little card I could get in the main building. I don't know, if you're not a student, I don't know if they let people in, but man, if you can get inside, it's like, whoa, it's so cool. Yeah, I went in, I didn't have, my classes weren't in the main building, they were in a different building, but I went in one time to buy the Slovar Dalia. If you guys know, if you know, you know. And they had like a little used bookstore down in there, so I went in to buy that. So yeah, if you can find a way to get in, I don't know if they lead tours or whatever, but it's amazing. So if you can't get in, it's still a super awesome place to walk around. There's these fontany, and then it's at the top of a hill, which is called the Vorobyovy Gory. And you can, when I was there, they didn't have the, what's that called? The funicular or something? You know, the little tram that goes up and down. I think they have that now. So when I was young, this is where we would go hiking, as we'd start at the bottom and then hike up to the top of MGU. And you can see over the city of Moscow, not the most beautiful skyline, but it is fun to have a point to go up to for lookout. Also, we came here for the Salute, the like firework display for День Победы, and like that was super fun. So it's a super beautiful place to walk around, especially at night. Look how beautiful. Вот, хорошо. Давайте сейчас поработаем в нашем учебнике. Хорошо, get ready for my horrible handwriting. You probably forgot about it over the break, but you're about to remember. So, we are reviewing everything we've learned so far about accusative case, okay? So here we go. I like Russian food. I see a liking, right? Do we need accusative case with liking? Nope. So we go like this. We go, мне, which is a dative case, which you'll learn about later. Мне нравится русская еда. Да, мне нравится русская еда. Next one, I want to go to Russia. Okay, so Россия is a feminine singular, and we have a going to, which gets us accusative case. So let's try it out. Я хочу поехать в Россию. And we get в with countries and cities, okay? I love Russian food, which is very true for me. I don't even just like it. I love it. I love it. It sucks because I always have to make it myself. We don't have any good restaurants around here, but I love it. Okay, so я люблю. Okay, we're going to take this exact same phrase that we just did up here, but we're going to go crazy with uyus. We're going to go u on the end of it. Я люблю русскую еду. Я люблю русскую еду. Okay? Next one. I love to cook Russian food. Okay? Well, guess what? We're still going to get accusative case for Russian food here because you're still doing something to it. You're cooking it. So, я люблю готовить. And then, same thing. Русскую еду. Okay? Next one. Are you looking at your phone again? Are you looking at your phone again? So let's do мобильник for our telephone. It's not a feminine singular. And then do you remember what's that phraseology for to look at in Russian? Okay, so we'd say something like ты опять. Опять. Remember, we have several agains in Russian. Опять can express a little bit of irritation, like, oh, here we go again. Oh, great, right? So, ты опять смотришь на, and then we could say твой or свой. We could do either one of those. Твой мобильник. So you're looking at. Ты опять смотришь на свой мобильник? Yeah, I feel like свой sounds better here. Ты опять смотришь на свой мобильник. You're looking at your phone again. You're out on a date. You're like, hey, me, I'm here. And you're annoyed with them. And чё ты опять смотришь на свой телефон? На свой мобильник, right? Why are you doing that again? Okay. Next one. I am similar to my dad. Okay, so we have похож, похожа, похожий. I'm a feminine, so I'm going to say похожа. This is called a short form adjective. And then papa, remember, even though we know he's a masculine, I mean, in today's world, you just never know anymore. But as far as Russian grammar is concerned, that he's a masculine, but all we care about is that and on the end of papa, and it's going to behave like an accusative. Okay, so I'm going to say я похожа na, and then we could say мою. No, you know what? We're going to leave out the my because it's going to get genitive case. So it would be на моего или на своего. So let's just leave that out for now, and let's go на папу because that's more authentic because it's implied that I'm talking about my own father. Я похожа на папу. Мы оба любим. Мы оба любим музыку. Музыку. Да, мы оба любим музыку. We both love it. Okay, I'm looking at your photos. Photos, interestingly, is not going to get a plural. So, and it doesn't matter because it's not a feminine singular. Okay, and then they're beautiful. Okay, so what's that phrase for looking at? Я смотрю на твои фото. Они прекрасные, можно сказать, например. Или они очень красивые. Вот так. Okay. Are you in Moscow? Okay, let's go back. It's like Throwback Thursday here. Are you in Moscow? That's prepositional case. So, ты в Москве, right? Ты в Москве. And then we'd say, давай пойдем на, because we get на for squares, на Красную площадь. And then remember, площадь is a feminine, but feminines ending in мягкий знак don't change in accusative case. The adjective in front of them changes, but the noun itself does not change. Okay? Is Spanish similar to French? Okay? So we're going to go испанский, and then that is a masculine because it's describing язык. Испанский похож. So we're getting a masculine short form adjective for similar. Похож на французский. Как вы думаете, испанский похож на французский? Да? Okay. Next one. This one's very romantic here. I'm looking at you because I love you. Я смотрю на тебя, потому что я люблю тебя. Потому что я люблю тебя. And then how would we say you're very similar to my mom? Okay. Hopefully you're saying this to a girl. So let's say you'd say ты похожа на мою маму. That's kind of creepy. But yeah, there are those men that grow up and seek a lover that reminds them of their mother. So ты похожа на мою маму. Вот так. When I lived in Russia, I loved to look at the beautiful churches. Okay, so we're going to get some prepositional case here. Когда я жила в России, я любила смотреть на красивые. And then you could do церкви. I would also accept, храмы, соборы, etc. And then last one, we are going to a concert on Saturday, okay? If you get the wrong to go here, totally fine. This is totally fine. I eventually will have a textbook coming out on verbs that will go more in depth in the goings, which everybody really struggles with. So don't judge yourself on whether you get the go correct in this sentence. What we care about is to the concert on Saturday, okay? So here we go. Мы идем на концерт. Concert is an event, a gathering of people. So we get a на. На концерт. And then we haven't officially covered this yet, but on days of the week, you get accusative case. It would be субботу. So maybe you remember that from the perceive section of the chapter at the very beginning. Okay, so now let's do our beautiful songs. There's actually not a ton of accusative case in these songs, interestingly. So this first one, at the end of the textbook, I have these songs, and I kind of have a color coding system of what is in what case. Why is that so dark? Okay, so interestingly, this песенка Мышонка doesn't have any accusative case. Isn't that crazy? Да? So there is no accusative case in here. Let's come over to хорошо в стране советской жить. This is the pionерская. This is like the scout song. I really don't like how dark that is. Okay, so let's see. So we're looking for some accusative case, which is in Okay, yep. So our accusative case is in green. So look, красный галстук носить. To wear what? Is it a feminine singular? A галстук, the red tie. To wear the red tie with pride. Красный галстук с гордостью носить. What? You guys can't see, the lighting isn't good enough for you to be able to see that it is in green, but it is. Okay, меряя, measuring, and then look, землю. Землю. The original was земля, feminine singular, and sure enough, measuring, doing what to? You're doing something to the earth. You're measuring it, right? Next one, помни твердо заветы. So remember the covenants, the promises of our fathers, заветы. It's not a feminine singular, so we don't see any oohs happening on the end of it. And then, look right here. Знай один лишь ответ. Боевой наш привет. Okay? So you're saying, know this one thing. Know this one answer. Our battle cry, like our, I don't even know how you'd say, боевой привет. Yeah, battle cry. Like know our answer and our battle cry. And those are both getting accusative case because you're knowing them. Accusative case. There we go. Вот, come up here. Oh, look at this one. На луну. Yeah? So, хорошо и на луну слетать, which is true. The Soviets flew, well, no, they didn't. We flew to the moon. They flew to the cosmos. So, and luna is a feminine singular. You're going to there. You're flying to there. So, it's getting accusative case. Next one. Хорошо все книжки прочитать. You're doing something to the little books, to the knижки, so they're getting accusative case. But they're not feminine singular, so they don't change in the obvious accusative-y way. Хорошо. Next one. Все рекорды. All of the records, the world records, перегнать. Перегнать, meaning, like, geez, I hate translating. Beating all the world records. Yeah, what are you doing to the world records? You're beating them. Хорошо. So good. That's all the accusative case in our song. Over here, let's do another one. Когда мы были на войне. So let's come straight to looking to these greens. You can't probably tell in the video that these are in green. But look. Трубочку. Когда на трубочку глядел. На голубой ее дымок. Okay, so he would sit, remember so remember he's smoking his pipe and looking, so he looked at the pipe, трубочку, it's getting the very accusative ending. На голубой ее дымок. Дымок is masculine, so it's not going to change, but I looked at her light blue smoke. Then here again, we have another accusative that's not a feminine singular, so we can't tell that it's changing, but что сердце девичье свое. So that your maiden heart that you gave to another, right? You gave it. What did you do to it? You gave it. And so it's accusative case. You're doing something to it. You're giving it away. Я только трубочку курил. What did you do to the трубочку? You smoked it. Yeah? So you smoked your pipe. Again, the original of that was трубочка. Next, что утолит печаль мою. Okay, look how interesting this is. Look at that печаль. Can you anticipate what gender it is? It must be a feminine singular because we got a мою describing it. Ah, look at that. See, that's the Sherlock Holmes type knowledge that is going to help you really make sense of Russian grammar when you can go backwards, right? When you can just figure it out, like, oh, печаль must be a feminine then, I guess, because we said мою after it. So there we go. Next, нашу вражду. Okay, so you can start anticipating. Those are in green. We know those are accusative. So you could anticipate what was the original of it. It must have been наша вражда, right? To cut off our hostility, right? So you're doing something to it. You're cutting it off. And that's all the accusative in that song. Let's look at another one. Oh, this is one of my favorite songs of all time. Просто хочешь ты знать. Let's find the green in here. Узнал, что где-то пьют вино. That's in green. What are they doing to the wine? They're drinking it, and it's not a feminine singular, so it doesn't change. Тебя зовут туда, где пьют. By the way, тебя is usually an accusative case. Sometimes it's in genitive, but a lot of the times it's an accusative case. Там кто-то спор ведет крутой. So they're carrying on a awesome argument, right? They're arguing about something, and that's cool. Then we've got vino again. And then the last one is драмы больше нет. Okay, so и что-то больно ранило прямо в сердце. So to the heart. Something wounded you straight to the heart. But again, not feminine singular. Doesn't change. Next one. Ушли за горизонт. Now, underlined is stuff that you will learn about cases in the next level. So за gets accusative case as well. So, and it can sometimes get instrumental case, sometimes it gets accusative case. But sure enough, underlined means, oh, that's the next level up for Russian cases. Over here, время на душе лечит раны. Раны means wounds. And it's not a feminine singular, so it doesn't look very accusative-y, does it? But we know up here, because we're smart, that is an accusative case. Шагами рассекая прохладный ветер. So, let's see, how do we translate? Рассекая. So like splitting, spreading out the cool wind. Разделить целый мир, to like split the whole world. You're doing something to it, but it's not feminine singular. And then again, ушли за горизонт. And there you go. That is some of the accusative case. What I'm hoping with these songs is as you go through them, you'll keep revisiting them and then realizing that like a lot of it makes a lot more sense to you now. And they're not as intimidating and you're understanding more and more in the songs. And if you haven't created your playlist with Russian songs, please do it. And as you get smarter with Russian, I want you to also like keep going back to those songs and you're going to catch on to a lot more in the songs as you get more aware of the grammar. So, хорошо. Lastly, let's review everything. Как сказать по-русски? I like Russian food. Мне нравится русская еда. Next one. This was in the book. I love to cook Russian food. Я люблю готовить русскую еду. You're doing something to it. You're cooking it. Okay? Let's go to the party. It's a gathering of people, a special event. So let's try it. And the party, by the way, is вечеринка, like the little nighttime thing. Вечеринка. То давай пойдем на вечеринку. Давай пойдем на вечеринку. What? Look at that beautiful church. Okay? So church, церковь, ends in a мягкий знак. It's a feminine. Okay? So that is not going to change, but beautiful will change. It will still be feminine, and it's going to get accusative case. Смотри на that. Yeah? So this is in that get cases as well. So смотри на эту красивую церковь. Вот так. Okay? Our daughter looks like my wife. Okay? Наша дочь похожа на мою жену. Наша дочь похожа на мою жену. And this last one, I don't like how you're looking at me. So this is going to combine some нравится and смотришь на. Okay, so let's try it. Мне не нравится, как ты смотришь на меня. Мне не нравится, как ты на меня смотришь. Мне не нравится, как ты смотришь на меня. Вот. So это все на сегодня. Увидимся завтра на следующем уроке. Tomorrow is the last grammar component of the chapter, and then we start into the exam preparation period. So, хорошо, это все. Пока-пока.